Go. Oh, good morning, everybody. Hope everyone's having a fine week.
Definitely.
Better than you, apparently.
Oh. Well, so yesterday, Emmeline and I went to now a new friend's house in Broomfield, Colorado, which is an hour and a half drive for me and an hour drive for Emmeline, because Sarah Baslow was in town. And so all of us are in the same group, so we all know Sarah. So anyway, her 75th birthday is next week. It actually wasn't yesterday, but since she's getting on a plane tomorrow,
Or
those of us who are
today.
here,
Yeah, today. Yeah.
today, yeah, that's right. I'm still stuck in yesterday. Um, so anyway, we had a lovely time. The hostess was just wonderful, and it was like nice to meet new friends because Sarah's other friends came too. So
Yeah.
it was nice. And on the way home, about 2 miles from my house, I stopped for a red light, and the person behind me didn't. So
Mm.
had a collision, and nobody was hurt. That not that we know of, unless there's I feel fine this morning. We'll see how I feel tomorrow, just in case. So I might go see a chiropractor if I feel anything. If not,
Yeah.
yeah, she was
Great.
super upset, obviously, but
Hopefully she wasn't texting or whatever to be distracted. That's a shame.
my guess is she was hoping to make it through the red light. Yeah, it
Yes.
didn't quite work. So my car was drivable, hers is not. So, and her, I called my husband, and she called her mom, and and the police, that of course. So,
Mm. Well, I'm glad you're okay.
thank you,
Yeah, so am I.
thank you, thank you. Good morning, Hope.
Good morning. Were you not well?
Oh no, no, I was just telling everybody I had a rear end collision yesterday. Somebody, I stopped at the stoplight and they didn't.
Oh, well, yeah. Thank God you're well.
I I am. It turned
Good.
it's not an obviously not a non-event, but I was way calmer about it than I thought I would be, and she was
Hey,
understandably upset because like I said, young adult, so
Sounds like
could
Mm.
she
happen.
did stop. It's not the way she should have stopped.
right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We haven't figured out the whole time travel thing. So, yes. So, all right. So let's go ahead and get started. Did anybody try the clear framework that I gave last time?
I missed
Nope,
that. I
but I
missed
will.
last week, so I don't know what you're
Okay.
talking about.
All right. How about you, Michelle?
I did not. I will this weekend.
Okay.
I'm guilty as well. It's been one of those weeks.
Whew, I can relate. I can relate. It's been a super busy week. What happens at the end of the month for us entrepreneurs, or a lot of us entrepreneurs, um, we're busy trying to get those last minute sales. So,
And I've
uh,
got my handout though from last week. So
oh, very cool, very cool. Well, I created another one today, but first let's go around the room and see what people are using AI for this week.
well, I can tell you what I used it for this morning, and this is
Okay.
kind of funny, but I have a, a calla lily plant out on my gallery, and I noticed that one of the stems had um, hidden in the leaves these sort of bulbs kind of things, and I was wondering what it was, and so typically I would go to chat or something like that, but I went to Google and just put in calla lily, and it pulled up this information, and I just all of a sudden I had this question, and obviously it's Gemini, right? Because that's Google. Well, I said, "Oh, this is it," and I got the whole series of AI from Google on the plant and what they the seeds that's their seeds, how to harvest the seeds if I want to, so I can plant them next spring. I mean, it just kept going. It was just like I was talking to Chat, and I had
Yeah,
to remind myself that it was
Yeah.
Google.
yeah.
It was amazing. So anyway, I told her thank you very much, but I'll contact you next year when I'm ready to plant. So that's how I used it just even today. So that was a good thing.
That's awesome. I love that. So I'm surprised it didn't say, would you like me to set a reminder in your calendar?
It didn't say that, but it typical of Chat and all these other AIs, it kept asking me, do you want me to do more? Do you want me to give you a schedule? Do you want me to tell you how to plant your whole garden when you move into your new house? And I'm like, well, I have to figure out where the house is going to be and which house I'm going to buy before I have to worry about the garden.
Yeah.
So it was fun. It was surprisingly informative. Yes.
Yeah.
Hey, Dean.
Good
Hi,
morning, Dean.
Dean. Well, I had an absolutely wonderful, incredible session with Claude this morning. I do, I do, for those of you that don't know, I do emotional freedom technique. I'm a practitioner,
Mhm.
and that's a technique where you can actually relieve people of their stress and anxiety and etc. And I have a person in my life who has some very extreme problems and has been really resistant to EFT. And so I sent him an email and I said, I asked him if I could do a surrogate tapping for him, which would be, be my, I would be the surrogate. I would tap on his problems so that he could get relief. And he said yes. Well, that was big. And so I started doing the tapping this morning and I ran into some questions. So I asked Claude about what I should do, what I shouldn't do, blah, blah, blah. And Claudette came back with some amazing suggestions, really, really good. And I left my session feeling so empowered, like I was really going to make a difference. I mean, I felt so empowered. And then Claudette came up with a suggestion with everything that I'm carrying, considering what my family is going through. Who is tapping for me?
Oh,
I mean, that was really something. So anyway, I'm kind of on a high right now, and it's really incredible. I'm really this was really good. So when I
excellent.
start getting some replies from this person that says it's working, I will let you know.
Yes, I'm
That would be
excited to hear
great.
that. Yes,
Yeah.
very cool. Good morning, Peggy.
Hi, Peggy.
So
Good morning.
we're going around the room to see what people used AI for this week.
Sorry I came in so late, having a friend problem with taxes.
Oh dear.
I think they have the wrong CPA. I got my 22 modules edited with probably 100 notes
That's true.
on this AI that Michael set up for me, and I got it sent back to them. It's based on the book, Build Your Nest Egg. And I didn't have anything about real estate. So I sent it back. And the books, it shows I'm reading all the books. Some of them look inappropriate for 10 to 15-year-olds. Not inappropriate like they're bad, but they really look like they're for the 3 to 6-year-olds.
Oh, oh
Yeah,
my
just
goodness.
it's, a 10-year-old to a 15-year-old's not going to read these picture books. I don't think, but I thought I would ask a couple of kids what they think that are more in the range of 10 to 15. So
Very
Wow.
wise.
Sounds
a
like
Great.
lot.
you could draw some things from Rich Dad Poor Dad,
I
that
try
would
not to do
apply to
that.
for folks.
I'm sorry. I just he didn't write the book. Somebody else wrote the book.
Oh,
He broke his promise to people I know. I'm not a big fan of him.
Hmm.
Oh,
Thank you.
Yeah.
I have a
no,
book. Believe me, I've got far more experience than he has. It's his wife that's the incredible investor.
okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Interesting.
So,
Okay.
But thank you for the suggestion.
sure. Tirzad, so I don't have anything too exciting to report. I am diving deeper and deeper into Claude Cowork, and it's just amazing how complex the setup and the processes are. There's a few people that I follow on YouTube and so forth, and some people simplify everything, and then there's a couple of people that are more like engineers, and they said you have to structure it this way or that way. Um, and I feel like basically I've lost a month and a half of things I didn't know. And I was constantly getting frustrated with Claude for not functioning as I thought he was capable of. And then I learned now I'm working inside of individual projects. So I numbered them A through I. That's how many separate projects I have. And the difference between, and I think we touched on this last week, was the difference between Claude Cowork and Claude Code is in Claude Cowork, you have one Claude that talks to the individual subagents and they report back to him. But the individual subagents have no idea what the other subagents are doing. So you really, whereas I think Marvelism does that. But in any case, so I am constantly improving my setup. I've learned to write skills. I have something like 37 separate skills now, and now
Wow.
they're written properly and they're installed properly. Uh, Before I thought I had them installed, but they were not installed properly. Had no idea about that. So it's been an interesting journey, and now I'm really starting to make great progress. And I think 6 months from now, it'll be scary how much I know compared to what I knew 8 weeks ago.
Well, no, that is fantastic, and I love that you're now going through projects and skills, and yeah, we'll be definitely interested in learning more about what you're doing between Claude Cowork and Claude Code.
And you know who has been my biggest help in
Who?
getting Claude set up?
Yeah.
Gemini.
Ah, nice.
Gemini, with the things that I'm doing, like a blog I write, um, acts more like a CMO, and thinking how can you multiply with this one blog, how can you multiply your exposure, your efforts, and so forth, and has expanded my one blog into like 5 marketing pieces, and um, and Gemini has helped me write some of the skills for Claude, and Gemini freely gives me advice. And when I run that same thing through Claude Cowork, Claude completely misses it. So it's amazing. And I haven't thrown ChatGPT into the works because it's a lot more advanced now. But I'm finding that my sessions are about 12 minutes long before ChatGPT just cuts me off for the day.
Wow.
So
My
I
God.
mean, it is really much more advanced than it was, 90 days ago, but at the price, I guess, of using up tokens. And I'm not a rocket scientist. I'm not doing anything too complicated. But so it's really amazing that, we touched on this before, the other AIs will actually and freely help you with another AI situation. You just have to take the advice that you're getting and filter it and verify it before using it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. I've asked Grok, I've asked Perplexity, I've asked ChatGPT, Gemini, and Claude, and each of them will help me with the other. So yes, I find that quite fascinating. So, and at this point in time, I suspect because of the number of conversations I have and my history with all of them, they all know so, that I'm
Well,
using all the different ones. So,
you know what's interesting, and competition is good. I'm finding I'm actually a little bit creeped out when I'm using ChatGPT or especially Gemini, because you know and I know if you don't have a paid account and you haven't created subagents or whatever, they don't remember one conversation to the other.
right.
And I'll ask Gemini for something. I'll work with Gemini for 30 minutes, 45 minutes, and then the output is and she'll refer to my real estate business and the blogs that I have written previously, like back in December and January. And this is how this ties into your blog work. And this is how, and I'm like, how the heck does how does Gemini, remember all that? So apparently the models, even the free accounts, I do have a paid account with Gemini, but apparently the models are getting so much more advanced that they are actually retaining some, not all, but some information from previous, I think, as far as your voice, your identity, I think that's what they're retaining, not the individual chats, perhaps.
I want to ask ChatGPT how it does that, and it told me it was proprietary. So, uh, which I thought was interesting. Yeah, I don't know whether to be concerned. Sometimes I am. I mean, when I was at my dad's house about a month ago, and I was taking pictures of different things in the house to ask ChatGPT about them, and it it made some inferences about my mom and her tastes and that kind of thing, and I was kind of blown away by it was eerily accurate, not 100% accurate, but eerily a lot of accuracy, and I was like, well, gee, how many times did I talk about my mom? I don't know. So, um, yeah, that is interesting.
There should be, and I was looking at this on some of them, a place where you can edit the history.
Yes.
And Gemini, Perplexity. Well, Perplexity is interesting one because it goes against different models. But all that history that you develop with a particular AI is housed by the wrapper, the proprietary information like Google or OpenAI, etc.
Yeah, so the question is, do we need to be worried about it? And maybe the answer is yes. On the other hand, as an entrepreneur, I've had my information out there for, I don't know, since before the year 2000. So,
Yeah, I go with it as long as it helps you, it's okay. Once it starts hindering you in some fashion, then yeah, there's cause for concern. And the lawyers like to get involved way before it starts hurting you, though.
yeah. Yes. I was looking at something on Coinbase the other day and I thought, "Oh, this might be interesting to try." And the next thing is it gives you a page full of links to documents that you need to read and I went, "Okay, well, I don't really care about this right now."
Too much homework.
Yeah, yeah. It was just not worth my time in that moment for sure. And it may never be worth my time.
What I find out though is when I'm given a bunch of documents and all legal sites or even your financial sites have legal documents about doing things online, you throw it into Gemini a notebook and just say, hey, summarize this for me. What do I need to worry about here? Because most of it's boilerplate by now.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. I,
so it's,
I don't remember where it was I saw this, and it was probably years ago, but somebody made a joke about the terms and conditions, and the guy said, "Yep, you know where I'm at? I'm in Bill Gates' house." And of course, everybody's saying, "Why?" He said, well, because apparently I agreed to be Bill Gates' towel boy when I signed the terms and conditions or checked them off. So, yeah, right. Okay. Anyway, so Michelle, Paul, Hope, what have you guys been doing with AI this week?
Well, in my case, primarily just some more like health research related things because of finishing up the fast and the few things that I ran into and like amazing results out of it, but also a couple of things that kept showing up that I've had issues with since I was a little kid. And, but I finally got full understanding of exactly what was going on that was causing me to have this extreme, it's like restless leg syndrome, or actually it really is, but there's other things that branch off of it because it all has to do with the vagus nerve and this Arnold's branch that goes into your ear and other stuff that I knew I had some like oversensitivity kind of things with that nerve, like for a long time that I'd figured out probably 2 decades ago. But now I have the complete understanding of exactly what's going on, what flares it up, things to do to help offset it, and various other things. And also why a lot of the things that I did through the fast worked so well and what it's done for me, at my age and where I am and what came out of it and like what it actually means in terms of like how resilient and how strong certain, things like heart and other things in my body are and all of that. So it was like really good. And the interesting thing is like Emmeline was finding is that um Google's AI in this respect was giving me way better answers, way more clear, way more interactive than anything that ChatGPT was giving me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, that's good. I mean,
So
that's good
that's
that you're
more than what
getting.
I did because I ran into a couple of odd things that kept occurring that I was like, okay, what's going on? Because I hadn't done that kind of thing before. And I wanted to make sure, I was coming out of this in a safe way that was going to lead to what I wanted and everything else. And so it was like really good what I discovered and also learned how to deal with some things that I've dealt with since I was a little kid more effectively.
I love
What was
that.
that, Michelle?
What was that?
Which AI was giving you the good answers?
Surprisingly, Google AI, just doing a Google search.
Wow.
And like having real conversations with me, just like I was in chat or something else, and the whole bit. And I was like, that wasn't the case a few months ago. Like, forget it. Now it's like, wow, like the
Yeah.
level of,
If you use them enough, you'll find what you want to go to each AI specifically for. Right
yeah,
now, for example, ChatGPT creates, and I don't mean go gets, but creates the best images for me
ah,
than all the other ones I have. Um, but again, my the amount of the iterations it's going to do for you before it cuts you off is, pretty short. But they're really doing a better job than the other three AIs I use.
cool.
So I did
Haven't
get.
tried images yet there.
Yeah, I was looking for a logo for my new business, and ChatGPT came up with one that I think I really like it. So, yeah, I totally agree with you, Dean.
Cool. I'll try that out.
Tears, if somebody needs to make a chart, and I think people have like, for the best writing, use this AI. For the best images, use this AI. For the best, whatever, use this AI. And then, of course, in 30 days, that'll change, right?
Yeah,
That'd
there
Oh,
is.
be
probably less than that.
Yeah, there is. I saw a list recently similar to that. I'll see if I can find it because it was interesting, but it listed like it looked like there was like 20 different things on that list. But it did mention that ChatGPT was good for images, and then Claude was really good for writing and stuff like that. So, but it wouldn't hurt for us to share as we're doing stuff our experiences as to what seems to be providing us with the best information or
Tears
skill.
that you could do that as a landing page.
Yes, I could. Yes, I
Yes,
could.
you could.
Yeah, yeah.
Bring more, especially for companies that like don't get it, and it's a lead in for you to start working with companies.
That's a great idea.
Very
So
good.
I used uh, Gemini Notebook. NotebookLM has rebranded itself as Gemini Notebook, but it's the same tool. I used it to create a video about what I'm doing for my website for the community cards business, and then I gave it to ChatGPT and said, add it to my website, and it went ahead and did that. And then I went and created a video for another local company, and I haven't shared it with them yet. I guess I've been too chicken. And I did the same thing for the Chamber of Commerce orientation, and I still haven't shared it. But I created some with Gemini, some really great videos. I just continue to be impressed with Notebook for that. So, yeah. All right. Hope writes, hold on, let me move my little guy out of the way. I love ChatGPT for images. I also love Nano Banana for images, and for editing images from ChatGPT, because ChatGPT tends to change aspects of the original image, even when you ask it not to. Nano seems to do a lot better job of sticking closer to the original concepts while adding or changing the things I ask it to change. Hope that makes sense. Paul, do you use Nano Banana?
No, haven't used that or tried. I don't do much image work, so to
Okay.
speak.
Okay.
I did ask it, this is through Gemini. So when you ask Gemini to generate a picture, it will call up Nano Banana. We're doing a cruise tour around Japan, and I wanted to make a map of all the ports we're going to and some of the shore excursions. And it and I was using, I gave it the cruise kind of itinerary. And it basically, instead of making a map, it did a flow kind of diagram. So as a, okay, that's okay. As opposed to a map, it just sort of graphically put it together. And within yeah, Gemini Notebook, we threw in all the data, and so I've been using that to try and come up with what is a good itinerary for shore excursions, because in some ports you're there overnight, so it's kind of like you can do multiple things. What days are a good day to do it? um, the notebook is self-contained. It doesn't go out to the web, so it only uses that information that is provided to it. And one of the questions also came up was, do we need a visa? And everything in the notebook was saying that you need a visa and go to these places to get it. Well, when we go to those places to get it, it basically said you don't need a visa. And so then took it out into the wild, the Gemini out there in the net, and Copilot, just to kind of double check. And it's kind of like they go to the website. I went to the website and it says, yeah, well, you may need a visa, but because you're a cruise, you don't need a visa. And the website says you don't need a visa. But it's kind of like, okay, this is very strange. So I ended up actually emailing the cruise ship, and they said, yeah, you need a visa and go here and get it.
Nice.
So,
Yeah.
and then it makes me wonder, okay, where did they go to get their source of truth as to do we need a visa or not? Because the information out on the web that I could find and that the LLMs could find are contradictory.
Yes.
And that's kind of interesting. So long shot away from using Nano Banana, since I don't do much graphics.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah. I guess I was thinking way back when you were helping your wife with her book.
yeah, and then well, she was using ChatGPT to do that.
Ah,
And it took her, because every image was a mutation of the original image, it was her prompt. Instead of trying to say, hey, change the image, or adjust it, which she did, but it was kind of come up with the prompt that gave her the image she wanted, as opposed to trying to adjust based upon a previous prompt and adding to it. And then there were times where she actually, you can download the image, you upload the image and give it the prompt, and that way it works from the current image. But yeah, that was over 200 prompts. I'm trying to think. I don't recall if she went into different chats, because a while ago the different chats were isolated. Today yeah, the context is it will scan all your chats if it wants to figure it out now. So it has, your time history context wise. And if you're like me and you don't pin chats at the top or label them, rename the chat so that you can find it. I've got, you know, a couple of hundred chats in the list there, and I can't remember which one I'm talking to. So I just tell it, hey, did we talk about this? And I said, yeah, we did. Okay, good. Let's continue.
Hey, Paul, I think you just gave me an excellent tip by accident. I didn't know you could rename the chats
Yeah,
Yeah.
name them.
because now I'm trying to be more careful when I open a new chat, what the name is going to be presented so I can find it later. But if I can rename them, that's
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah. Renaming and pinning are the two things I find useful now.
Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you.
Sure. Yeah. And
Can you
I think,
merge the chats yet?
no,
Yeah.
not that I know of.
No, you can branch, but you can't. I haven't heard about you being able to merge them. So
I think that's where you do a copy and paste. Or I mean, here again, you just rename it to, line one, number one, number two, and then the LLM will gather that information by if you just say, hey, we talked about this in, section number two, bring it up. Michelle, you talked about medical stuff, and I'll share this as a ubiquitous share for me in the chat. That will take you to a link that's trying to sign you up, but just go to the main website there, Prunova. I did the full body scan, and that way I could get the internals of me, and they use their own AI to read the MRIs and stuff. But all of the information, here again, I own it, it's my data. So I plugged it into Gemini to ask it particular questions and do more of the research behind some of the stuff. So it turns out I'm really healthy, nothing to worry about, which is exactly why I took the scan, is to get a baseline. There's nothing for me to worry about.
good, good. Don't start worrying about having nothing to worry about.
That's right. I mean,
Yeah.
gee, everything's going so good. The only thing I worry about is like, why can't I get my Hermes to work? Yeah.
No, thanks, Paul. I'll check that out. It's like, yeah, it's like I don't have any major issues, never have, but there's just some little small things, and and it was like, okay,
Yeah.
at least finally understand this. It's been something I've dealt with my whole life, and how to, more effectively like not have to live with that flaring up all the time.
Right. Yeah. And
It's like in your background and other stuff I've been wanting to ask for a long time, so I just will like, what is it you do, or the t-shirts in your backgrounds?
okay. So the background is space. So I'm a space enthusiast.
Okay.
Here's my Star Trek mug.
Okay, just curious because I used to work for NASA and Jet Propulsion Lab for 26 years. So I'm like,
Oh,
okay,
okay.
what are your t-shirts and your backgrounds all about?
Right. So the t-shirt today, this is the Java Duke. He's the mascot for the Java programming language and the Windows. Windows and Microsoft, and it used to be Sun, but Oracle finally, got into bed together and they settled their differences. So, but I was a software engineer. I actually worked for NASA for a little bit too, a long time ago, and a friend of mine works up or used to work up at the JPL. So when he was there, we got a nice tour of JPL assets and the Mars rover and stuff. That was pretty nice.
Wow.
Yeah, it
So
worked out.
yeah, we saw the helicopter before they sent it off on the last one.
Cool.
Yeah. But yeah, space enthusiast, and now my last company was with a medical device company, ResMed. We treated sleep apnea with CPAP machines, and we did all the data analytics. So yeah, I get calls about people wanting information on the hardware and hardware processing, manufacturing stuff. And since I didn't do that, we were all on the back end side doing all the software data analytics, and that's where the artificial intelligence machine learning came in a lot. And so I became advocating for that at ResMed, and helping with the software development teams, the whole data processing analysis. So it was really pretty fun. And I just, yeah, I still have that tech bug, so I want to keep it going. And then I help my wife. My wife is the entrepreneur here in the family with, she's written a book, finally has it published on Amazon in both English and Spanish. She did the artwork via ChatGPT. That was a little bit of my help because it was like she got frustrated and it was to the point, well, you could take it into Canvas or Canva to do
Yeah,
particular editing, and we tried that. It didn't work out, so she went back to just trying to get the prompt correct. And finally, she did. She got it. That was it. We're done.
cool. Oh, thanks. I was just always curious.
Sure.
Yeah, thank you. Is she working on her next book?
She's actually working more on meeting people. She does yoga training, and she's doing a with a nonprofit organization, teaching or doing yoga within the prisons here in the San Diego area. And so that she's been focused on that, and she has a teaching class up at a local college, yeah, Fallbrook, about 50 miles north of us, teaching there once a month on mindfulness. So she's a mindfulness-based stress reduction teacher instructor, a yoga instructor. She goes out to some of the facilities and areas that have elderly people. So she teaches them with a sound healing class or just chair yoga. She did get a good gig. So she's a journalist by training, but since she's bilingual, she just picked up a gig to translate from English to Spanish. So she's negotiating that contract now.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
So she keeps us busy. But as I think about the translation, is that should be fairly easy. You dump it all into one of the LLMs, say translate it, then all you're doing is proofing the final to make sure that it translated correctly. So a lot of the labor of looking, trying to read it and then do it, but you're still gonna have to read it because the when you go, I think Spanish does things backwards from English. And like when we translated her book, we did use the LLM to translate the initial one. And it called a squirrel, which was one of the main characters, a rodent in Spanish. And that doesn't go very good when you want the main, like that's rodent.
Yeah.
So there are subtleties that the LLMs don't get just yet.
Yeah, as an adult and probably as a child, reading about rodents in my story
Yeah,
versus cute squirrels that I think of as cute.
right. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like, and the rodent had what is it? Red fluffy tail rodent is climbing the tree and says, that doesn't, it's like you got the squirrel, which has a red fluffy tail, is climbing the tree. Something like
Yeah. Yeah. Wow, that was very cool to learn more about more about people's backgrounds in here. I love this community and what we share. I did a lot of work this week with ChatGPT Cowork, and I'm sorry. Before I get into that, I just wanted to mention, Dean, that I got an email from OpenAI this morning saying that they've reduced the price of tokens 80% for two of ChatGPT's models. So they're both 5.6. One was Terra, and the other one was they actually have three out, but they're all under 5.6. I tend to use Sol. They reduced the price of the tokens for that for 20%. So anyway, just you might see some changes on your end, but since you don't have a paid subscription, I'm not inclined to think you'll get much better. But I just thought I'd pass it along.
Yeah, if I start using it more, that's definitely something I want to look into. Right now, I'm all in on Claude, and in the first 6 weeks or whatever, by the end of the week, it would show I used 10% of my capacity. Now, by Tuesday night, I reset every Sunday night. So by Tuesday night, I'm at like 60% of my week's worth of allotment. So I'm probably going to be upgrading my Claude account to, I think it jumped from $20 to like $100 a month or so. I don't know. I was kind of wishing there was like a 30 or $39 option that I could kind of, jump to. But, one question I have, you guys mentioned Nana Banana, and I guess that's a Google product, right? Or a Gemini product? Okay, because Gemini generated a really nice logo for me for my newsletter using that. And I just, um, eventually here, I'm probably going to jump to some kind of a paid image creation software. But I was just wondering if anybody has experience with a free image generator that I might try out.
I'm trying to think of a free one because most of them give you a certain amount for free, but then you have to pay up because if you want anything, if you need more than one or two a day, you have to pay for it.
Yeah, I really don't. And that's the
Yeah.
thing. I'll have an idea or I'm making a blog and I need to have an image for that blog, that type of thing. And like I said, ChatGPT will give me one or two iterations, and when I'm wanted to make a change, it doesn't even warn you; it just cuts you right off in the middle.
Right.
You know, and so I was just looking for a secondary source until I'm ready to go to a pay model.
Well, since you're already paying for Claude, you can put into Claude or Claude Cowork to create an image. That's true, and it does fine. But if you really want it to do well, look on your left-hand side and look for Claude Design.
Design, right?
Yeah, it
I
does a
clicked
much
on
better
that
job.
once,
Yep.
and I don't know what happened. I just didn't get anywhere with it.
Oh,
Maybe I wasn't. I'm sure it's the user that's not using it right. Has anybody used Claude Design here? Have you, Tirza?
yes. Yeah. I've been very pleased with it. I've not, but when I compare for example, I had ChatGPT make some documents for me, some PDFs recently, and they're fine. They're good. But when I put similar things into Claude, Claude seems to do a much better job. So
Hmm. Okay.
that's been my experience so far. That's for like PDFs and documents. If you wanted to, do flying horses and pink landscapes or
No, no.
something.
I really need some eye candy. When I mean, people don't like to read these days. So if you make a blog, you have to scatter some images throughout the blog just to keep people's attention, right?
Yes.
So that's
Yes.
kind of what I'm looking for, and I'm just doing one of those a week, and probably over the course of 7 days, maybe need three images, something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so my problem is I am capping out on Claude now every session and the more I'm having it do and the more we're working together, I'm just meeting my maximum like all the time. I'm
Oh,
hitting
okay.
my
So
ceiling.
Uh,
since you're
So
doing that, going up to $100 a month is probably the best option for you. If you were just doing it every once in a while, you can. There's a setting in Claude where you can tell it to do an automatic Top up.
okay. Yeah, right
So
now it's offered me I guess they want you to use their latest model, which
Sonnet,
is I
Sonnet.
think way above my
Oh, right.
let's see what that one's called.
Opus.
Fable,
Yeah.
Fable 5. Yeah.
Oh,
And
Fable 5 is very expensive. They released recently
exactly.
Opus 5, right?
Yeah,
Which, yeah.
I'm using Opus 5, and different bloggers have said when you're not doing something too technical, drop down to Sonnet or whatever. And I just got some really stupid, I'm sorry, I never use that word, but just stupid responses, or using sonnet or haiku or whatever. They just say, "Oh, I can't do that. Oh, I can't do that." And then I go, "You just did this for me 2 evenings ago. I know you can do this." And then they come, "Oh, you're right, Dean." You know. So I'm like, you know what? This is all nonsense. It's wasting my time. I'll just go back up to Opus 5 and just stay. It's more expensive, but at least it's intelligent. So,
Yes. Yes.
So
Absolutely.
I put a couple of links in the chat. The first link is a LMM pricing evaluation, and it goes by API, but it also has some monthly stuff in there too. So that might be
okay,
useful
Paul.
to take a
That's
look at.
good. Thank you.
Yeah, the other link from Zapier is a list of their top 8 best AI image generators. Now, one thing to note, Dean, if you're only doing 3 or 4 a week, you can,
Images.
yeah,
Yeah.
images. Then you can jump from one free guy to the other free guy and never get over your limit of free
That's
images.
exactly, Paul, that's exactly what I was thinking. That's why I asked you guys if there was a free image generator that you guys are using, because my needs are minimal and I could jump from one to the other if it's decent, you know? And
Yeah.
then, well, what I'm in the process of, I've had a goal for a year and a half to develop a weekly newsletter, real estate newsletter for an audience. And you have to be consistent with it. And for me, I wanted to create something more, something bigger than just giving people real estate information. So I'm in the process of creating a newsletter more on the likes of styled after. Are you guys familiar with the Morning Brew? It is an excellent little newsletter every day. It's free and it's kind of hip. It's got a cool, snarky vibe to it, right, Tirza? It's got humor. It's got this or that. So in every issue, there are portions of it that are real estate related, and you can find out just where you live. I mean, if it's in South Florida where I am, in 30 seconds, you can find out what homes are the average price of homes selling for, how many days they sit on the market. You don't have to go through a lot of reading and but other stuff is just really pop culture and things like that that I'm including in my newsletter. So, so I've been building this thing with Claude for, gosh, 3.5 weeks now, and I'm modeling after a guy in the real estate industry, but his newsletter looks like it's homemade in somebody's basement, you know. Mine is going to be really commercial looking, but it's going to give people that are not interested in buying or selling their real estate information on the local area, events, and things like that. So ultimately, I am willing to go to a paid image generation model so that I can have my blog writer communicate with Claude to say, I need these 3 images for this week's blog. And then Claude will go to the image generator that I'm paying for and go and have those made. So that's where I'm going with this. But in the interim, I'm just looking for some free tools that I can get up to that level, you know.
Right. Once you've experimented with the free tools, then you could go back to Claude and see if one of those tools there's a connector to it via Claude.
Yeah.
So
So
yeah. Well, we'll keep looking and you let us know what you find as well. So
sure.
I I subscribe to some items on Amazon, some products that I use regularly, and usually it sends me an email like a week or two before the next delivery to let me know if the prices have gone up or down. And so this week, there I had 5 products coming up, and 4 out of the 5 products had what I thought were significant price increases. So I took a screenshot of the email that Amazon gave me, just showing the products, and put that into ChatGPT Work, and I said, go find equal or better quality for less price.
Oh,
And it only stopped twice to ask me if it was okay if it searched on Google and Bing, in addition to Amazon, because I told it that's where I was buying it from. And it went away for a few minutes, and it came back, and it gave me not only a list, but it put it into a table comparing each of the products, the size that you can order. So it turns out if you can find it, and it found it, in the size that has more, a bigger quantity, you can buy less often, but less per, whatever the unit is. So I went and changed 4 out of the 5 products, and the 5th product it said, you already have the best deal on the internet. So it's like,
oh wow.
that was pretty cool. Yeah. So,
So
yeah.
are you going to share that with us?
Oh, sure. Hang on. Let me bring that up, and I'll share that with you. So I'm just exploring all over the place with ChatGPT at the moment. Here we go. Find lower class alternatives. Oh, not that one. Hang on. Oh, here I will do a share, and we'll do just exactly what Paul mentioned, by the way. And so here I am in ChatGPT Cowork. This is one I did yesterday. I gave it a picture of some makeup that it was expired, and I didn't want anything to do with. So I said, go. Here we go. Next item. I've gone way past its expiration date. I said I originally bought it at Costco 2 years ago, and please find an equal or better alternative in an even smaller quantity if possible. This item plus eyeliner is all I wear for makeup. I keep it minimal so I don't disappear on camera. So it went away for 3 minutes and 18 seconds, and it came back with just one item that I can go to a local store here in town to buy. It also gave me another one that I could look up from a competitor. But based on what it told me, I'll probably just go over to this local competitor, Ulta, and go buy the separate one. But that wasn't where I started was up here. So here, I don't know if it'll show you the image, but this is where it's circling around. That's the image of my snapshot of my email that I put into ChatGPT, and I said prices have increases on 3 of the 4 items, even though the 4th is not included in this task. Please review Amazon for comparable items that would be less in price. Also note if increased quantities or bundling would decrease the overall spend. The quality of these items must be equal to or better than what I already have. And it went away. What you don't see here is it worked for 6 minutes and 46 seconds, but in between, when it needed to go look at Google search or Bing search, it stopped and asked me. And so it will pop up the question down here in the chat window, and I can either approve, the approve button will be on this side, or deny, and the deny button will be on that side. So I approved in both cases, and this is what it came back with. So if I kept the current thing that I have, the annual spend would be almost $102. Sorry, that's the one it recommended I keep. The mushroom blend, my current ad spend would be $295. The new spend with a comparable product would be only $160 for the year. So making that one change would save me $135.84. Mind you, the way prices work, especially on Amazon and other places, that could change next month. But for now, for this coming order, I'm going to save this much annually if I continue buying it. And because it's 180 count, I won't need to buy it for whatever it is, 3 to 6 months or something. So same thing with the clear hand soap. That went up significantly in price, so it gave me in this case, it gave me the same soap, but if I ordered it as a 4-pack instead of a 2-pack, I'll save some money. So probably not as dramatic, but still helpful. Everything helps. And I take magnesium, so it gave me a different, I recommended a different product with the same quality and different pricing, and I'll save $50 a year. So just on those 4 items, if I use its recommendations, I save $200 a year.
That is so cool. Tirza, would you mind if I took a screenshot of your original prompt?
Oh, yeah, right, sure.
Now, this is the next one down. I think you need to scroll up for the original prompt, right?
No, this was the original prompt for the, here, I can just actually just copy it, but, oh, I don't even have to do that. That's such a habit. I can do that.
There is a button for that.
There's a button for
No,
that.
it says these prices have increased for 3 or 4 of the items, but this is after your original prompt when you asked it to go out and search things.
Oh,
I,
you wanted the response.
no, I wanted the original prompt that you did. So obviously, I'm not buying your same stuff. So
Right,
I
no,
wanted
really, this was the original prompt. What's circling up here that you can't see, I mean, it's not showing, is that's the screenshot I took of my shopping list.
ah,
So this
So
really is the original prompt.
her original prompt included the shopping list that she's referring to, where it says prices have increased on 3 or 4 of the items from the screenshot that you can't see. Does that make sense, Dean?
yeah, I was just wondering what you said to it. Like, here's a screenshot of what I'm buying now, and then can
No,
you
you,
save me money or something? Is that what you kind of did?
Yeah, yes, I said the prices have increased on 3 of the items. I still wanted it to research the 4th item. I said, please review Amazon for
Oh, okay, there we
comparable
go.
items.
Please
Yep,
review. Okay, I'm
yep.
sorry.
No,
Yeah,
that's okay.
I'd be curious
that's a
how,
great idea.
well, I'd be curious if you got the same stuff out of Gemini. Because I was just I saw a report yesterday or a couple of days ago where they talked about how Google's revenue is, doing really great, but everybody's switching to, instead of just web searching, you get links back. The AI is coming back with stuff that's actually useful. So like, this ChatGPT, this is useful for you. Since Google wants you to go off and hit their customer, so to speak, I wonder if it would be a slightly different kind of a conversation there.
I bet it would. I may have to go try that, Paul. The
Yeah.
other thing is you do know that businesses can buy ads on ChatGPT.
Aha, that's I think I've seen one-liners down at the bottom of my free version.
Yeah. Yeah, the free users will see. I haven't seen it on the paid version, but yes, the free users are going to get more of those ads. So, and so then later on, I that's when I after. Oh, by the way, it not so the table was really great, but then it gave further um, descriptions of why it came up with the answers that it came up with. So again, and then these links, by the way, sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. But in this case, the ones for Amazon did. This apparently goes to the FreshCap website if you want to go to the original source. So it does go to the source. It'll even give me recent Amazon price history. Same thing with this one, and then this one that I use. It says just here's the current, and then there's the manufacturer quality details. So I find it interesting that it. I don't know if it stores the photos and is just not bringing them up, or if it deletes them later. So
It depends on how much you pay and how old your memory is. But what happens if you right click on the circling guy? Anything?
no, but
Okay.
over here, nope. See, that's it. It's not storing it. When I clicked on it there,
Do the download.
let's go
Since
back.
you know the image, see if it just downloads
Oh,
it. Yeah, that down arrow on the
yeah,
in
hang on.
between button.
There we
Yeah.
go. No, I suspect it'll just give me nothing. Let me look real
Which
quick.
is interesting. Then it's gone.
Yeah, yeah. Well, apparently didn't need to keep it around.
It's a great way to fly too when you want to nonstop to a place you want to go to.
What is?
Using the same kind of prompt, like
Oh,
find
yes.
find the best price for the nonstop airline and a hotel to go with it.
Right.
Like it could do
Yes, the
all
travel
your
agent.
shopping and
Yeah,
all your travel
yeah,
agent.
yeah. The travel agent I've been finding is a lot more complicated than just giving it a prompt. And I've been wanting to dabble in that, but when we schedule our trip, like the Japan one, but I've done this in the past too, is that find the airline tickets. But because the airlines themselves have nuances on their websites, it's like how much is the price of a bag? How much is the price of a seat? Do you want to buy a seat or you want to let the computer pick your seat, 24 hours ahead of time? All these little nuances go into that prediction, or the agent trying to do something for you. And then I found out on the cruise ship website, they use a different language for their website that I can't even copy and paste off of it. I have to take a screenshot. It's pop-ups and so the AI can't actually see it because I was asking, give me the list of the excursions. And it says, I can see you're on the page and it says it has excursions, but I can't read it. It's like, oh. And I've delved into that a bit. But so the web is getting a little bit more interesting with how it uses stuff that we can read, but the AI can't read.
Hmm.
There is a way around it, Paul. Depending on how your comfort, if you allow it to, I don't know about, well, Gemini's already there, it's in your browser. But I gave ChatGPT permission to help me with a problem I was having with X. So I gave it a permission to access my browser. And at that moment, I was using voice mode. I was having difficulty with some trying to reset my password and that kind of thing. So literally, the voice circle came out of the screen and it went on my desktop and was, I don't know how to explain exactly, but it was actually looking at me trying to type stuff into my browser. That was a
Hmm.
little strange. um it was my first time to use just conversation with it. um and eventually I muted me to it, because I was kind of muttering about my results, and it kept trying to help me, and it was like, no, 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 stop! I'll go figure that one. It couldn't help me figure out that one. The final answer was that X needed some further verification of my identity. Um,
Right.
but Chet, yeah. So
Yeah, and that's
Hmm.
one of the things that I'm trying to, I had Comet browser and Comet would actually take control of itself and allow it to, navigate stuff. But for some reason, I guess because they changed the billing and whatnot, it's like I'm not paying for it and it's not free.
right.
So that's why the Hermes aspect, there's supposed to be the ability of an agent to read and navigate on the browser. But a lot of the stuff is that they're reading and navigating what is being shown in the JavaScript. And if you're on a Windows machine and you hit the F12 button by accident, you get this sidebar or side panel on your browser, and it's all the code. And then I've navigated the code for these windows looking for this pop-up, and it's some of the text is buried deep within there, but yeah, the main stuff I couldn't find. So I'm not sure how they rendered it so that it's visually seen. And this is where it gets down to some of the rendering is done by an API call and it displays it. So it's not actually in the tech or the CSS or wherever they get the info from.
Yeah, yeah. So,
Uh,
all right. Thank you, gang. I kept you over time, but we'll go over. If you have a chance to give whichever your AI of choice is a chance to do a task for you, report back to us next week. And once you've done that, we'll be able to take it one step further. I did note both Tony and Peggy asked about not being able to use Claude Cowork, so I think sometime over the weekend I'll record a video of how you get to Claude Cowork. You have to download the Claude app to do that. In similar fashion to ChatGPT, you have to now download the ChatGPT app to have it do work on your behalf if you're not using the coding. So I'll put together a little demo video for you guys and put that out on my email. I apologize. The automation for my uh, processing of these meetings does work. I did everything but publish the newsletter. So that's not the fault of the automation, that's mine. So, so all
Wow.
right. In the meantime, have a great week, everyone.
Thanks,
Thank you,
too.
thank you, thank you.
Have a
All right.
great weekend. Bye.
Bye.